Welcome back to Behind the Caution Tape. I am your host, CrashLit, coming to you from the Surf House at University Park here in USC. And I'm really excited to bring you this next episode of Behind the Caution Tape. It's going to be a great episode that we got coming for you. So let's get into it. So some big news out of football. So a lot of you probably saw over the weekend, there will be no spring game this year, or at least one that is not open to the public. I mean, these are it's basically just an open practice, but just with all the tampering that's been going on. I completely understand head coach Lincoln Riley's decision to not have an open spring game this year. And I mean, while it is definitely fun to get a glimpse of the team, I think it definitely is. I think it's for the best that they're doing this to help prevent just tampering or just potential other teams trying to offer guys offers that are worth more. So I think it's definitely for the best for the program. But definitely it sounds like there will be a couple of events over the summer for both boosters and fans. I will try to get more info on that and report back when I do. Not sure when that'll be, but I will. When I hear stuff reported, I will definitely bring it to you. But on some good news, though, definitely, obviously, but while definitely it is tough that we won't get a spring game, we do have some good news, and USC is the #1 recruiting class according to 247 and Rivals. And that is after two big commits with quarterback Jonas Williams flipping from Oregon to USC and Samote Katoanga. Hope I'm saying that right. Defensive uh defensive lineman Samote Katoanga committing to USC. So two big pickups for Lincoln Riley and USC, and I think this is really just going to help bolster the 2026 recruiting class and really just bring a lot of excitement to this program in the years to come. So really excited about all that news, and I'm just cannot wait to just see what these guys will bring to the table. So it's just definitely, I think USC's getting momentum, and I think you're seeing it obviously with all these. I think you're even now, just even though a lot of these hires are new with Chad Bowden and everyone else that's been assembled to help run the football program's front office, I think you're really seeing them now just getting to work and getting down to business. And I think it's basically just, my point is just the evidence that just making all these hires is just really working wonders for USC already. So I have a lot of faith in what Lincoln Riley and Jen Cohen are doing, and as well as with what Chad Bowden and his staff are doing, and just everyone in general. So I think this is going to be going to be a turning point, and I think you really can. I really see the momentum coming. Like I'm genuinely believing it. I think it definitely, like this year, I think this 2025 season, I think can be big breakout year for this team if they do well. So really excited to get back for football to resume in the fall. So especially now that there's no spring game, I'm like, it's got to be potentially my next time in the Coliseum. So really excited for that. But on to some other sports now. Soccer, meanwhile, big congratulations to Aaliyah Farmer for getting called up to the Mexican national team to help compete with them. So really excited for her, wishing her the best of luck on that. Women's volleyball sent 4 players to Colorado Springs over the weekend to take part in the U.S. Women's National Team Open program. So big congratulations to juniors Gala Trubant and Adanya Famuina and incoming freshmen Abigail Mullen and Taylor Decker, who I believe are already practicing with the team. So really excited to see how they do. Women's golf, meanwhile, finished taking part in the Alice and John Wallace Classic in Palm Desert at the Monterey Country Club last Monday. We didn't get to talk about because I think I recorded earlier due to plans to go home for the day, but pretty much that was still on day 3 hadn't happened. It was hosted by Long Beach State, but USC held steady and finished second out of the 21 teams. Finished 11 under par with an 841 total score and placed 4 players in the top 20. Catherine Park in second, Jasmine Koo tied 6th, Bailey Shoemaker tied 11th, and Cindy Koo tied 19th. So women's golf currently ranked 3rd in the country, is off until March 3rd and March 4th, and they'll take part in the Julie Inkster at Meadow Club Invitational. So best luck to them until then. Men's golf, meanwhile, does resume action this weekend, where they'll take part from March 2nd through 4th in the Southern Highlands Collegiate in Las Vegas at the Southern Highlands Country Club. So best luck to them this weekend. Track and field, meanwhile, reaching the final stretch of the indoor season and then after that, So track and field hitting the final stretch of the indoor season. They had the weekend off and are now preparing to take part in the Big Ten Indoor Championships that'll be happening this week from February 28th through March 1st in Indianapolis. So best of luck to them. Got a bit of news from swim and dive. The women's team had their Big Ten championships in Columbus this weekend. They finished fifth with 835 points, and it was highlighted by Caitlin Dobler's individual wins of the both 100-meter breaststroke and 200-meter breaststroke. So it was definitely just really impressive performance from Dobler, and definitely overall fifth is very, I think, really impressive finish for this team. So really excited to see how they do in the NCAAs with the Zone E diving championships happening from March 10th through 12th, and then obviously everyone will be the swim and dive championships happening from March 19th through 22nd. Both of those will be in Federal Way in Washington. As for the men's team, they have their swim and dive Big Ten Conference championships this week from February 26th through March 1st. So best of luck to them. Men's tennis, meanwhile, got a 4-3 Crosstown Showdown win at UCLA on Saturday, winning 4-3. So USC got the doubles point with Nathan Truve, Matteo Morazzi, and Carl Lee all winning their singles matches to give USC the 4-3 edge. So the team's now 6-3 on the year. So they now will take part in the Pac Coast Doubles tournament. That'll run from February 27th through March 3rd in La Jolla. But then they also have a dual match on the 27th as well at University of San Diego, who's doing very well. They are 10-2 on the year. That duel will take place at 12 p.m. So it's a solid team. So USC just basically just needs to come ready to play when they head down to San Diego to take on the Toreros. But I think this team's in a really good spot. Definitely started off the season a little tough, but I think you're seeing them get some momentum, get some big wins. So I'm really excited to see how they compete against San Diego this weekend. Women's tennis had a home win on Friday against Cal. It was a 4-3 win. They got the doubles point win, and Grace Piper, Emma Charney, and Maya Sung all winning their singles matches to help USC win. So the team's now 5-1 on the year, and up next they will host Pepperdine on Saturday at 1 p.m. The Waves are 4-6 on the year, and USC just needs to be ready to go, not get trapped just due to the Waves' poor record. So it's still going to be a tough matchup for sure. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they compete this week. Beach volleyball had their season start off this week with the Outrigger Duke Kahanamoku Beach Classic in Honolulu. That was hosted by the University of Hawaii, where they finished third with a 4-2 record. So last Thursday they beat host and number 12 Hawaii 3-2, and then lost to number 7 LMU 4-1. On Friday they lost to number 5 Stanford 3-2, but then beat number 11 Arizona State 5-0. And then on Saturday they beat number 3 UCLA, so 4's down there again, 3-2, and then beat number 2 TCU 3-2 as well. So closed it out on the 3-game winning streak. Definitely a little tough there at the start, but I think this team, obviously, they lost a lot of their senior talents. It's a much younger team, but I still trust Dane Blanton. He knows he's obviously got a great track record, and I think he's done a great job with this program. So they will likely drop, but they're going to have another big weekend coming up to bounce back, and I really think this team will gel. And the one thing I've learned about Blanton, especially from having interviewed Ashley Pater last year, I did a feature on her for Annenberg Media, which you should go check out on my page there, is Dane Blanton is not afraid to make adjustments to the lineup when needed. And I guess case in point with Ashley Pater is she played with 3 different partners, and she was playing with Grace Seitz at the end of the year when the team won the national championship. But it just shows that he's not afraid to make the adjustments as he sees them. And so for that reason, I still have a lot of confidence in this team. They'll make the right adjustments. So I'm really excited for them to compete. And that leads me to this next point. So they'll be co-hosting the Battle of Los Angeles at Merle Norman Stadium. That'll be right there on campus, right off of Figueroa. So definitely go if you can. So it's a big weekend to bounce back. They will host Concordia at 10 a.m. and Pepperdine at noon on Friday. And then on Saturday, they host Washington at 10 and Long Beach State at noon. So USC just basically needs to come ready to play. And just for the sport like beach volleyball, USC just has a massive target on their back from being 4-peat. They got 7 national championships. It's just like, you got to watch out. And USC just needs to come ready to play. Everyone's kind of, I guess, and I mean, being at USC for this, I'm loving it, but everyone else is kind of hating on the beach team, obviously. So USC just needs to come ready because they do have a target on their back. Everyone wants their number. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this team responds to responds and bounces back from that tough first weekend last week, tough first weekend, and bounces back this weekend here on their home sand. So we get now to women's water polo, who is now 14-1 on the season. They will likely drop to number 2 due to a loss to Stanford, and I will get into that right now. So USC took part in the Barbara Calbus Invitational that was hosted by UCI over the weekend. They beat Biola 30-5 on Friday. They beat number 8 Long Beach State 15-7 and number 5 Hawaii 14-7 on Saturday, and then lost to number 1 Stanford. They're both number 1 last week, by the way, just to clarify, 10-6 in the title match of the BKI. So overall, 3-1 weekend, good weekend for sure, but definitely tough losing to Stanford for sure. It's definitely been a team that's caused a little bit of trouble for the Trojans over the last couple of years, but I'm confident that this team will respond and get better. But so we'll break down each game kind of goal by goal. Emily Osmus led with 6 goals against Biola, and then Osmus and Ava Stryker each had 3 goals to lead the team late against Long Beach State and Hawaii. And then USC was kind of in control of all 3 of those games pretty much after the first quarter. But then Stanford got to a strong lead. Alma Jacoby led all USC players with 2 goals. Stanford just got out early. USC did make a rally late in the fourth quarter, but it was not enough to catch the Cardinal. So Cardinal did win the tournament, but USC does have an opportunity to bounce back in the Convergence tournament in Claremont, California next weekend. And the opponents have yet to be announced for that. So obviously I will report back on everything that I have on that when we get the information. But for now, they haven't announced the field yet. So I will definitely make sure to actually they did announce it. So USC will take part in the Convergence tournament. They'll face Pomona Pitzer, who's the host, and Marist. So those will be the 2 teams they'll face in the Convergence tournament. Just decided to check on that and actually found out the info right now. So there you have USC's 2 opponents. They'll face Pomona at 11:30, Saturday 11:30, and then Marist at 12:45. So pretty back-to-back matchups, and it'll be a pretty quick day for the Trojans. But best of luck to the women's water polo team. Women's USC lacrosse, currently number 23 in the country, beat UC Davis 12-7 at Dignity Health Sports Park on Friday. Maddie Dora led the team with 8 goals, and USC just gradually pulled ahead throughout the game. And Isabel Vitale, congrats to her, continuing to rack up assists, and now is USC's all-time assist leader with 123 after having 3 against the Aggies. So the team now moves to 3-1. And I bet they'll move up a few spots from 23rd. And up next, they'll host ASU in today, actually. So it's 12:51 right now. So that game is about to start in 10 minutes. Unfortunately, can't make it down due to class. So that game will be at 1 p.m. on Big Ten Plus. I'm going to turn it on as soon as I'm done recording. And then also they'll play so ASU is 3-1 on the year. And then they play at San Diego State, who's 4-1 on the year on Saturday at 1 p.m. So USC just needs to be ready to just go with both these games and just continue to take care of business. And I think this could be a really fun year for them, especially. Really fun and exciting year for this team. So I'm really excited to see how these couple games go. Men's volleyball held steady at number 5 despite 2 losses to UCI a couple weeks ago, and is back in action this week after having last week off. They will play Vanguard, who's 3-6 on the year, at Vanguard on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And then they will host Vanguard on Friday night at 7 p.m. at Galen Center. So this will be the start of MPSF play. I think these are 2 winnable matches for USC. I think it'll be a good way to kind of ease into MPSF play, but I think that UCI matches will definitely help battle test this team, especially as the schedule is going to get a lot trickier in the weeks to come, especially with BYU coming. You're going to teams going to Hawaii for the Outrigger Invitational. Then you got kind of a gauntlet. But after that, after going to Utah and Hawaii, USC doesn't leave Southern California again for the rest of the regular season. So I think kind of that will definitely help. But I still think this team definitely needs to be ready to bounce back and respond. And I want to see them play with a bit of anger on this week. Meanwhile, we'll move to men's basketball, who had a tough week. They lost 87-71 at number 20 Maryland on Thursday, and then lost at Rutgers 95-85 yesterday afternoon. So Wesley Yates led USC with 21 points against the Terrapins, but Maryland just seized control and just never really looked back. So it was definitely a game that was just tough. And obviously Maryland's a good team. Like they've been good all year, so knew this was gonna be a tough game, but team definitely needs to find a way to respond, especially as opportunities to get quad one wins are starting to slip. So USC does need to, start getting some momentum, especially if they want to make the Big Ten tournament too. But against the Scarlet Knights, Desmond Claude led with 30 points. While USC started strong and had an early lead, Rutgers took control late in the first half and just didn't really look back, and didn't help that St. Thomas fouled out late. So it's just a tough game overall. So definitely a tough week for this team, but I'm really excited, looking forward to see how they respond this week. They have a home game this week, so they're now 14-13 on the year. They're 6-10 in Big Ten, so they're tied 13th in Big Ten standings. So right down the bubble. I really am wanting to see how this team responds this week, especially with two big matchups. So they got Ohio State, who's 15-13 overall, 7-10 in Big Ten play at 7:30 on Wednesday night. That game will be on Big Ten Network. Then they also play at Oregon, who's 20-8 overall, 9-8 in conference on Big Ten Network at 1 on Saturday. So Ohio State's in a slump right now. They're on a 3-game losing streak. So USC just needs to take advantage of that and take down the Buckeyes on Wednesday night. So I think this is a great matchup. I want to see this team come out angry. Like I've said it before, like I'm not endorsing losing by any means, but if a team has a bad loss or two, in some ways it can just flip a switch and just help that team just come out and really respond. My favorite team, and I know I keep saying this all year long, has been women's volleyball. After they lost to Michigan State, a match they should have won, and then had a tough loss to Penn State, who the eventual national champions. So just the way they came out at UCL on the road and just swept them and just took care of business was just incredible. Like it was so fun to just watch them. So, but my point is just, I feel like that losing like that can just sometimes hopefully just light a spark and just get a team rolling and playing angry. So I just want to see this men's basketball team play really angry. And obviously I think this team will be better. Team's going to have some good recruits coming in. Big thing is, can they keep some of the key guys like Desmond Claude, Wesley Yates III? But if they can, I think this team can be really special. And that's why I'm just saying we need to be patient as fans in year one with Eric Musselman. But I think he's going to do a great job in the years to come. So I'm really excited, even beyond this year. But I still think there's something out there for this year. But then also Oregon's going to be a tough game. Oregon's hot right now. They're on a 4-game win streak, so USC needs to go to Eugene ready to play. So it's just going to be a big week for USC. So I'm really excited to see how this team responds, especially after a couple tough losses over the last couple of weeks. Baseball, meanwhile, went 3-1 this week. They beat UCI in their first road game of the year, 5-2 on last Tuesday. And then Ethan Hedges had a grand slam in the 6th inning, and Grant Gall pitched 5 scoreless innings with 6 strikeouts to earn the win for USC. So USC just really just broke that game open, just didn't look back from there. So it was really impressive to see how that team responded, especially in a road environment too. And a lot of those big West schools, they are into their baseball. Like I've seen at Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State. So I was really impressed to see how this team responded just on the road like that. USC did host Cal State Bakersfield at LMU the following night, beat them 7-0. Hedges and Braden Dowd both hit 2-run shots to help keep USC's offense hot. And then the series versus Rice, USC won 7-4 the first on Friday in 11 innings, with Jack Basser pinch hitting to get a 2 RBI single on the top of the 11th to help USC win it in extras. The Saturday game was rained out, and that game appears to will not be rescheduled from all accounts that I've read. And then USC did lose 3-2 on a walk-off in the 9th. Katie Aoki did have a solid game, pitched 5 2/3 innings with 7 strikeouts, but Rice hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th to win it. So USC now 6-1 the year. And up next, they got another big week coming up. They face Cal State Fullerton, who has not started the season strong. They're 1-6. They'll play them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. That game will be available on ESPN+. But I've been one never count out the Titans. That's a good team. As I've said, big West schools are into their baseball. And Cal State Fullerton has probably been one of all the baseball stadiums, college baseball stadiums I've visited since I've been kind of coming to USC and going to away games. Like Cal State Fullerton's probably my favorite. It's just great environment. The fans are into it. So I think I'm really excited for this game tomorrow night. But then also USC will take part in the Southern California College Baseball Classic that they will co-host with UCLA over the weekend. So they will host UConn, who is 1-5, on Friday night at 6:30, and Vanderbilt, who is 7-1 at 2 p.m. on on Saturday, and both those games will be at Great Park, and then they'll play the final game on Sunday at 2 p.m. at UCLA, who is 6-1 at Jackie Robinson Stadium in LA. All those games will be available on the Big Ten Plus. So it's definitely gonna be a big weekend for USC for sure. They got two big matchups that I think definitely they're really gonna test them, but I think they got two others that they can't overlook, especially like that Cal State Fullerton one. You can't overlook it. Like they're really into it. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for all these matchups this week because that's what I'm trying to say. I'm really excited to see how this team does and just responds from that tough loss yesterday at Rice. But yeah, so pretty much USC just needs to play strong, take care of business, especially against UCLA and Vandy, who are off to hot starts. But you got to be ready for UConn and Cal State Fullerton. And then finally, our final team today we'll talk about is women's basketball. So they got two wins this week. They won 83-75 against number 22 Michigan State on Wednesday night, and then won 76-66 against Illinois yesterday afternoon. So then against Spartans, Juju Watkins led with 28 points. And overall, USC was in control for the most part, but MSU did make a few runs, especially kind of near the end of the game. But USC did hold on to win, so definitely was a little terrifying at times. It was great to just see this team grit out and find a way to win. So definitely that was a fun game to be at, especially because my mom pulled up and it was really cool to see her as well. See her. It's really fun to see my mom just get into USC sports, I gotta say, especially now my brother's here too. And then against the Fighting Illini, Kiki Iriafen and Watkins each had 22 points to lead USC. And USC mostly controlled, but Illinois has been sneaky good this year. They've been under the radar. They're number 25. They only lost, I think, 7 times, I believe, now after yesterday. But still, they gave USC a fight and just played solid game overall and definitely had times where they took the lead, I think, early in the third quarter and had everyone there. And before I continue on, thank you to Woohoo Sue again for bringing me courtside for that game. It was really fun to be courtside for senior day and just craziest season's over. But yeah, so overall, just great win, great way to end the season for USC. And then afterwards, they had a special senior day where it was super heartwarming to see Lindsay Gottlieb just really just deliver such heartfelt messages about the seniors. It just shows how much she cares about her players and just how much like they believe in her and just her vision for this program. What she's done in 4 years has just been nothing short of incredible. Like it's been so fun just watching this program from when I got here to just seeing them where they are now, like contending for Final Fours, national titles. And I think it's going to be another special year. So while that was the final home game, I think USC should be able to host. And maybe that Northwestern game gets scheduled, but doesn't sound like it from everyone I've talked to. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Doesn't seem like it'll work. But there's still one game left in the season. Actually, before I get to that, Juju Watkins was named the Big Ten Co-Player of the Week. USC did. Last week, USC moved up to number 4 in this week's AP poll, held steady there. Despite Notre Dame losing, they dropped to number 3. Texas got bumped up to 1, UCLA number 2. So it'll be 2 versus 4 for the Crosstown Showdown rematch at Pauley Pavilion on Saturday. So basically, it's also probably going to be, Big Ten title implications online too there as well. So USC now sits at 25-2 overall, 14-10 Big Ten play. So the rematch at number 2 UCLA, who's 26-1, 26-1 overall, 14-1 in Big Ten play. That'll be on Saturday night on Fox Sports 1 at 6 p.m. So this is going to be a brutal final game. It's already sold out. So it's going to be I'm really excited. I'm going to rally some friends to go with me, but it's going to be a great game. I think USC has a shot to win it, but this is going to be another hyped up game. Definitely make it there if you can. And if you can't, watch it on TV. It's not on Peacock this time, which I'm very happy about. And I'm still very angry at the Big Ten's media partners for putting that game on there. When you're trying to go game like women's basketball, they did that game dirt. They did that game and just women's basketball in general dirty. So that's my rant there. But I think that overall, I think it's going to be a great game. And it's definitely going to be a big one, too, because UCLA is good, USC is good. Both these teams are contending for the national title, and Lauren Betts is back, so USC's got to come ready to play. And the Bruins are going to be out for revenge. So I am really excited for this game. It's going to be such a great way to end the regular season. I could not be more excited for it. So looking forward to this one for sure. It's going to be such a fun time. But yeah, finally on to how I did. Last week I went 3-0, so I got the baseball win at UCI on last Tuesday, and then women's basketball wins against Michigan State Wednesday and Illinois on Sunday. So that puts me at 66 and 18 this season and 278 and 100 all time. And that puts me this year at 14-1 for women's basketball, 3-0 at baseball. So this week my plans are kind of busy. I'm going to Cal State Fullerton tomorrow night for baseball. I'll be at men's basketball against Ohio State Wednesday night. We're gonna go all four beach volleyball matches this week. So against Concordia and Pepperdine on Friday, and then also against Washington and Long Beach State on Saturday. I'll go to men's volleyball on Friday against Vanguard. I'll go to women's basketball at UCLA on Saturday, and then I'll also be back over in the UCLA area on Sunday for baseball. So that's gonna be my week. That's gonna do it for us here at Behind the Caution Tape. Thank you again for joining us today. It's been such a fun time. Really looking forward to getting some more interviews on soon. We got some of those coming up. I'll tease them and preview them as we got them going. Make sure to stay current with everything I'm up to by following me on social media everywhere, primarily Instagram at CrashLit. Check out my website, crashlit.com, to see everything that I'm up to. If you see me at a game, let's chat it up. I'd love to hear your takes on USC sports. So thank you all for joining in. Please subscribe. It means the world to me that you're taking time to listen to my podcast. It's been an absolute blast. I'll see y'all soon, and fight on.